What's up, YouTube? This is Mathos97, and welcome back to an episode of WWE 13 Universe Mode, and we are here with episode number 107, which is, of course, the highly anticipated No Escape pay-per-view here in UCW. And as you can see, we're going to kick off the show with the Hardcore International Championship Elimination Chamber Spectacular. And yeah, because the Elimination Chamber matches do not allow entrances, there are none. So no entrances, so we get to get right into the action. And as we can see over there in the pods, we have X5 on your screen up there in the top right. In the top left is Little Caesar whenever they decide to show his purty face. In the ring, we've got Ghost, the current champion, and then we've got Richard Thompson, the man who Ghost defeated to win the Hardcore Championship in that unification match back at the Extreme Apocalypse pay-per-view. And as we can see, there was no countdown timer for whatever reason, but now coming into the ring is Nightmare, just coming out of his pod into the match, and then over there on the bottom left was Frost. So those are our 6 competitors here tonight in this Elimination Chamber matchup. And as we can see, Nightmare going right after the Ghost, the champion, and that's a smart strategy. Try to knock the champion out of this one early, although that's easier said than done. Of course, with Ghost, he's held that International Championship ever since May, ever since the Byron-Zones pay-per-view. In fact, it is the second longest championship reign in Universe Mode, like out of any of my Universe Modes. So if you count even WWE 13 up until WWE 2K14, what's going on right now, of course, he's second only to the United States champion, Jack Swagger. That's the only reign that the Ghost has not beaten. But the Ghost has held the International Championship since May of 2013 in WWE 13. And now, entering the ring is Frost. He's entering the match. Entering the match as well, I guess. Entering the ring. Whatever. So, as we can see, Frost now, he's got Richard Thompson. Oh, I thought he was going to suplex him out onto the chamber floor, but electing to just suplex him back into the ring. And I think Nightmare was going for a spear, but Ghost was able to sidestep it into a DDT. Nice move there by the Ghost. So like I said, with this being an Elimination Chamber matchup, there's going to be chaos. We could potentially have all 6 superstars in the ring at once. So I'd have to say, if you're at this point in the match, you want to try to do some crucial damage to your opponent, maybe try to get one of them out of there early on, but you also want to try and save your energy. You want to be able to outlast your opponents so that you could be in the final 2. Of course, just being gassed in the first 3 minutes of the match is not going to help you win the championship by any means, as now Caesar enters the ring, as X5 is the final superstar yet to enter the chamber match, and Ghost now back up onto his feet. So we've got 5 superstars in the chamber now as the ring begins to fill up. Nice move there by Caesar, taking down Nightmare. But Caesar, he's a former #1 contender, as he challenged the Ghost for the International Championship back at the Overboard pay-per-view. Frost is a former UCW television champion. One of his famous accolades was getting Brian Cole out of UCW, that whole Zander James screw job over Brian Cole's career. Of course, Brian Cole would end up coming back a few weeks later, so that never really worked out too well, and it's definitely made Brian Cole even more bitter than he was before. And I know that's something pretty difficult to do, but it did manage to do that. So yeah, the Ghosts back at the Byron-Zones pay-per-view defeated DeMarcus Hardy to win the International Championship. Like I said, he defeated Caesar at the Overboard pay-per-view, which was way back in August. So, I mean, there was a pretty long gap in between UCW pay-per-views. And then they had actually, no, technically that was in July. Overboard was in last week of July. So I apologize for that. And then at the, what is this? Like, my whole schedule is weird. Like, because of it running down with WWE 13, trying to wrap up my WWE storylines, that ended up kind of messing up the schedule a little bit. So the next pay-per-view was not until September, the first week of September, which was Extreme Apocalypse, where we had the unification match of the Hardcore International titles, and that is where the Ghost defeated Richard Thompson to unify the belts, and that gets us to this match where we are today. This is the October pay-per-view. This is No Escape. We're here in the first week of October, which means for as far as, like, you know, trying to balance this out with WWE's, like, the storyline that I've got going over there. So think of it as the schedule. This is the same month as the No Way Out pay-per-view. This would be the beginning of that month. So we're about still at the same spot, technically, in both series. We're at about the same spot. I mean, wow, that actually almost lines up perfectly. That's strange, but anyway, that's enough talking about how the stuff's been going. But anyway, like I said, the whole importance of that was just to signify Ghost's reign as the champion of how long it's been. But a big choke slam there by Nightmare, taking down X5 and into the cover here, but a kick out by Nightmare. What a move by Richard Thompson! That vertical shoulder breaker, whatever you want to call that maneuver. A very painful one, that's what I'd call it. As nice suplex there by the Ghost, and a swanton onto Frost. Nice maneuver there by the Ghost. I mean, we don't usually see Ghost go to the top rope too often, but when he does, it's definitely a high impact maneuver, because that is all that mass of the Ghost. Is he's a pretty tall dude, pretty big in stature, so I mean, that is definitely a lot of impact, even amplifying it even more than somebody like a Frost coming off the top rope. But there's Frost with that package suplex, or whatever that's called. But that's 1, 2, and 3. The Ghost has been knocked off in this one, so the Ghost is the first one eliminated in this Elimination Chamber match. So we are guaranteed to have a new Hardcore International Champion here tonight. So the question is, which of these 5 superstars are going to capture the gold? Could it be Frost, the man who just eliminated the champion? Could it be X5, one of the up-and-comers in this matchup? Could it be Richard Thompson? Richard Thompson, of course, could be looking for redemption, try to regain the title that Ghost took from him. We've got Nightmare, of course, who's been stepping up, making a name for himself recently as well. We had a double wake-up taunt there that never really went anywhere. And what a power slam by Richard Thompson. That's a 2 count on X5, and X5 is eliminated by the Nightmare there. So now we're down to 4. And then, of course, we have Caesar. And, I mean, Caesar's had an opportunity at the International Championship once before, but now he's had some time, some added time to be able to wise up, get out of his rookie-ish state, and get more into the, become more of a veteran here in UCW. And what a move there by Nightmare, laying out Frost. So, I mean, maybe this could be Caesar's opportunity. Maybe he just needed the extra month or so to wise up and perfect his craft even more. And this could be his moment, his opportunity to capture the gold. But, oh, nice counter there by Frost. I think Nightmare was going for something big. But there's a clothesline by the Frost. Richard Thompson now busted open. Did I just say the Frost? I don't even know. And now Frost choking out Nightmare over there. And a spinebuster by Richard Thompson into the cover on Caesar. But no, Caesar kicking out. So now as we're down to the final 4 in this matchup, the action's going to be a little easier to call here. I don't have to worry about 6 superstars. That whole chaos. I was actually surprised to see some of those superstars eliminated as early as they were. But there was a nice double kick out from Frost and Caesar. But of course, this is only the first of 2 Elimination Chamber matchups here tonight, as there will be the #1 Contenders Chamber match. Whoever wins that one will be the #1 contender for the UCW Championship at Final Destination, and they will main event that event. And speaking of the UCW Championship, we've got a triple threat match for the UCW Championship. No disqualification triple threat match, might I add, and there's a lot of bad blood going into that one. But I mean, so we may not even know who's going to main event the pay-per-view, because I mean, any of the 6 superstars could become contender, and any of the 3 superstars in our UCW triple threat main event, well, that's not the main event, the Chamber's the main event, but wrestling match main event. I don't even know where I'm going. I made a mistake and I tried to save it, and I'm only making it worse. So, like I was saying with the UCW Championship, that gives us, well, that's 9 superstars who are competing to compete in the main event. That was worded weirdly. Anyway, Nightmare into the cover on Frost, and Frost with a kick out. And now there's Richard Thompson with a cover on Caesar, and Caesar now the one to kick out. And he sends Richard Thompson over the top rope onto that chamber floor on the outside. Nightmare and Frost still going at it over there. Is now Caesar, nice counter by Richard Thompson. And Richard Thompson, I mean, I'd have to say Richard Thompson has the moment. Oh, he just put Caesar right into that pod. And now he's going to follow it up with a DDT, an elevated DDT, onto the chamber floor. And no, Caesar's still kicking out. I thought that would have been it. I mean, he got thrown head first into that pod, and then he got planted right on the chamber floor. I thought that would have done it. As, oh, there's that elevated, vertical shoulder breaker once again by Richard Thompson, as Nightmare getting fired up in the ring over there. And Richard Thompson now off of his finisher, going to add a spine buster for good measure. That's one, that's two, and that's three. Little Caesar is eliminated. And I have to say, I mean, take nothing away from Caesar. He took a lot of punishment there at the end. And what a super kick by Nightmare into the cover now on Frost. That's one, that's two, that's three. Frost is now eliminated, so we're down to two. It is Nightmare and Richard Thompson. They're battling it out to determine who's going to be the next Hardcore International Champion. Richard Thompson looking for a quick victory there, but no. Nightmare able to kick out. As we can see, Richard Thompson wearing the scars of this match with the cut on his face. And there's that clothesline over the top rope. We're just going to ignore that glitch there as they landed on the chamber floor on the outside. And what a move that was by Nightmare. And just all the damage, of course, with that being the chamber floor, less of a fall, less of a distance of fall. So you're going to go smack dab, all that impact right onto the steel. And that's just going to add some extra damage to that one. So it's going to be tough to see Richard Thompson coming back from that. Of course, with that busted open cut on his face, Nightmare's going to want to try to zero in on that. Went for cross body, but Richard Thompson was able to step out of the way of that one. And now, with a bit of a face lock locked in here, he's got that arm all wrapped up. And Nightmare, could he tap out here? As Richard Thompson really yanking back on that one, but no. Nightmare was able to power out of it, and he's able to escape the submission hold now into the cover on Richard Thompson. And there's a kick out by the former Hardcore Champion, Richard Thompson. And at one point, Richard Thompson was the fastest rising superstar in this universe mode, although I'd have to say he's slowed down a little bit recently. His momentum's been kind of taken to a shocking halt, or a sudden halt, ever since Extreme Apocalypse when he lost the Hardcore title to the Ghost. But maybe this could be his opportunity to change things around. And what a spine buster there by Nightmare. And of course, Nightmare is just the wild card in this whole equation. Ever since Sledder brought him on as one of his new henchmen, Nightmare has really stepped up to try to prove himself, try to make a name for himself. Went right after DeMarcus Hardy, trying to make an impact. Chokeslammed him through the announce table. So yeah, Nightmare really has tried to do whatever he can to make a statement, try to make the boss proud Sledder. And that's another thing. Will Sledder remain the boss at the end of this episode? Because, I mean, his job as owner of UCW is up for grabs, as he'll be taking on Zander James inside of a steel cage here tonight. And we have to remember, for the stipulation on that one, Zander James is not allowed to escape the cage. He has to win by pinfall or submission. He has to make Sledder tap out, or he has to pin him. And anyway, Richard Thompson into the cover on Nightmare here. That's one, two, and three. Richard Thompson is your new Hardcore International Champion. And what an effort that was by Richard Thompson. He came in well, it was actually, there really wasn't an official number, but Richard Thompson was one of the first two in the chamber, and he outlasted his 5 opponents, and he is the one. He is the Hardcore International Champion now. So he's now a 2-time Hardcore Champion, is Richard Thompson. Getting that victory, he eliminated the likes of Little Caesar, as we can see right there. And then, of course, in the end, getting the pinfall over Nightmare. And what a victory that is for Richard Thompson, recapturing that Hardcore Championship that he was unable to retain in that match against the Ghost back at Extreme Apocalypse. It is just kind of eating him up inside. It really has done a number on his career this past month. He's been on a bit of a downward spiral, but this appears to be the turning point in Richard Thompson's career. looking to go back to his ways of being the fastest rising superstar, as he has regained the Hardcore International Championship. So what a victory for Richard Thompson here tonight. Great way to kick off our show. But we've got another matchup here for you, folks. Let's move into our UCW Tag Team Championship match. And that is right, it's going to be two sets of brothers, two sets of brothers, I just said that. But the two sets of tag teams, of course, here we have the tag team champions, as I like to call them, the Disciples of Darkness 2.0, the Savior brothers, Chris and Drake. And as we remember, they won the tag team titles. Well, technically, Chris Savior and Shane Cooper, Disciples of Darkness 1.0, as I will refer to them as, they won the tag team titles from the Click. I guess that is also Click 1.0. I don't even know, but that rhymes. Ha! Okay, enough of that. But they won the tag team titles at the Overboard pay-per-view from Jesse Sullivan and Keenan X, when Jesse Sullivan turned his back on Keenan X and betrayed him in that match. And then, following the match, Shane Cooper attacked Chris Savior, thus ending that team as well. And Chris Savior brought in his brother Drake into UCW and managed to recapture, well, we put the belts back together, basically, at Extreme Apocalypse. It was Click 2.0 versus Disciples of Darkness 2.0, which was Chris and Drake Savior, your new tag team champions, current tag team champions, against Shane Cooper and Colin Watson, which was Click 2.0. And, of course, we all know who won that one. And they are your tag team champions heading into this one. But, of course, let us not forget the other set of brothers. That would be CSM and KBM. So, as we remember, KBM and X5, that's how the whole thing started out, with X5 getting back-to-back victories over KBM. However, KBM definitely made a name for himself in those contests. Really taking X5 and the other superstars. It was originally a 4-man battle royal, and those two superstars were the real standouts in that contest, taking each other to the limit. They did the same the following week as they competed one-on-one, although on both opportunities KBM fell just a little bit short. But, however, he definitely made a name for himself, sticking up, or I don't even know what I'm trying to say here, but definitely making a presence, a name for himself in UCW. And that gave him the opportunity, once he got back together with his brother CSM, to go after the tag team titles here against Chris and Drake Savior. And they did, after 3 victories in a row over Click 2.0. They even led to the self-destruction of Click by the looks of things here. As we remember, Shane Cooper just left the tag team matchup, the #1 Contenders tag team match. So we don't even know what is up with Shane Cooper anymore. He's 3-faced at this point. I mean, he was with Chris Savior, then he turned his back on him and joined the Click, and now he's turning his back on the Click. I mean, I don't know what's up with Shane Cooper. I don't know what is up with him. But, so that's not even important. That's not the tag team that is in this match. It's KBM and CSM. And really the only reason the Click was in that #1 Contenders match was because of Sledder. So that gave KBM and CSM a bit of an obstacle, as they were somewhat combating Sledder there. And they did get the victory in singles competition. If we remember, KBM defeated Colin Watson, and Shane Cooper was defeated by CSM. And then, of course, last week on UCW, well, earlier this week on UCW Wednesday Night Wipeout, it was KBM and CSM who got the victory in the tag team #1 Contenders match against Shane Cooper and Colin Watson, and that is now leading into this matchup. But also, I forgot to mention that before any of those matches with the Click even happened, KBM and CSM got a tag team victory over the tag champs, the Savior Brothers, and what a double DDT there from KBM onto the Savior Brothers. And now here is Chris, or not even Chris, KBM sending Drake Savior over the top rope, and now bringing him back into the ring. So, KBM and CSM already hold a victory over Chris and Drake Savior. Will that factor in here in this matchup? Will that show? Of course, by now, Chris and Drake Savior have gotten a bit more time to evaluate their opponents, and maybe things will go differently this time around, or maybe KBM and CSM just have their number, and maybe KBM and CSM can get the victory here tonight. What a moonsault there by Drake Savior. He's going to go into the cover, but there's a rope break, and KBM gets out of the pinfall, ducks a roundhouse kick, right into a German suplex. That was a very nice maneuver there by KBM. Now he's going to send Drake Xavier into his corner, and he's going to make the tag to his brother, CSM, as they're going to go for the Irish Whip and a spear and clothesline combination. Very nice move there from these two, and that's one thing we should see a lot of here tonight, is some pretty innovative tag team offense, as both these superstars are brothers. Not the two in the ring, but both teams are teams of brothers, so they have known each other for a long time. They know each other's wrestling style, and they're able to complement each other well, and they're just sort of on like a they're like telepathically connected, I guess you could kind of say. I mean, they just know what each other is thinking. I feel like that's worded weirdly, but it sounds right. But anyway, they know what each other. Let me get away from that sentence, because for whatever reason I'm butchering it, or it's not sounding right. Like, I'm not speaking grammatically correctly, but they're in sync, is what I'm trying to say. And they know exactly what to do when the time comes. So this should be an interesting matchup. We got two teams of brothers, and like I said, that quote-unquote telepathic connection could really factor in. And this should be one hell of a tag team contest here. So anyway, let's get back into the action here. KBM and can't speak. KBM and Chris Xavier out on the apron, and now Drake Xavier's on the apron, countering with an elbow to the face of CSM. And look at this, springboard hurricanrana, and he's even able to stand up after that one. What a move by Drake Xavier. CSM now countering the Irish Whip, sending Drake Xavier into the corner, and there's a monkey flip, sending Drake Xavier out of the corner. And if we remember, back when the Disciples of Darkness won the tag team titles, Drake Xavier was down, Chris Xavier was eliminated, Drake Xavier was down 2-1, and he managed to make the comeback, eliminate both Shane and Colin to win the tag team titles. So Drake Xavier, I mean, of course, Chris Xavier, he's been a veteran in this business, and sort of just taking his brother Drake under his wing, and what a Samoan drop there. Nice double team Samoan drop from Chris and Drake Xavier. Now it's Chris up to the top rope, moonsault. No, KBM was actually able to block it, lifting up the knees, and Chris Xavier went right down on those knees. That's definitely got to damage the ribs, and that's something KBM could maybe look into, but maybe Chris Xavier possibly landed on his arm. KBM noticing that, going after the arm of Chris Xavier, and that's something that that could definitely come in handy. Could definitely factor in for the rest of the match, as now Chris Xavier's just trying to fire himself up with the rapid kicks to the chest of CSM. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. But nice takedown, belly-to-belly suplex by Chris Xavier. Going off the ropes, doing a little juking and jiving. He's going to follow it up with a leg drop. Nice move by Chris Xavier. And now Chris Xavier. Nice counter by CSM. Irish whipping Chris into the corner. And here's CSM now placing him up on that top rope. This could not be any good, folks. This is only going to get worse, because what goes up must come down. What a move. Green Bay plunge there from CSM. I don't know what the real move is called, so I'm just going to call it the Green Bay plunge, because that is what Mr. Kennedy called it, and he used that move. So, anyway, CSM now. What a move. A final cut. Suplex. Final cut, yes. Into the cover. One. Nope, Chris Xavier kicking out. Staying alive in this matchup, keeping his team alive in this Tag Team Championship contest. And now, what a move. Planting Chris Xavier face first into the mat. Great move there by CSM. Innovative offense. And once again, going to set him up with that final cut. Going to the top rope now. Going for a 450 splash. And there he hooks the leg. That's 1, 2, and Chris Xavier kicks out. That was a close call there. The Xavier brothers. Chris Xavier maybe is going to want to tag out pretty soon. He has taken some sufficient damage, especially to the ribs, and that 450 splash is not doing him any favors. And now Chris Xavier, it looks like he's going to heed my advice and make the tag to his brother Drake Xavier, and what a kick to the face. And now Drake Xavier firing up here, taking KBM down off the apron. And CSM now going to counter, send him off the ropes. And now here's Drake Xavier, has CSM in a headlock. Now going to send CSM off the ropes. And, oh, what a move that was. Thought it looked like CSM was maybe going to counter into that Mysterio-ish bulldog. But now, oh, drop kick to the face now. What a move there by Drake Saber, going up to the top rope now. And now moonsault onto the standing CSM. And now into the cover. One, no, kick out. As it looked like CSM was maybe trying to catch him, go for some sort of move, but he couldn't recover quite in time. And pretty much just set himself up to get knocked down by Drake Saber. And now here's CSM. Could be looking for the first finisher of the contest here on Drake Saber. It looks like he's going for that Impaler DDT. And he connects, driving Drake Saber into the mat. And now, that was a bit of a game glitch there, but what a half Nelson neck breaker by CSM. It treated that like a wake-up taunt. That's not what that was, so I don't understand. But there's a springboard elbow drop by CSM. And now if he could just go into the cover, he may be able to get the victory here for his team. Hooks the leg. One. No. Drake Saber manages to kick out. Maybe CSM was doing too much dawdling. I mean, after that finisher, Drake Saber did have a little bit of time to recover. I mean, even if CSM followed it up with a couple of moves, I mean, still, it did take a little while. And now here's Drake Saber with a nice amateur wrestling takedown, planting CSM into the mat. And now making the tag to his brother Chris Saber, and that is definitely a perfect time for a tag, as Drake Saber was beginning to take some punishment. Switch in now to his brother, and there's that leg drop once again by Chris Saber. And Chris Saber now looks like he's going for his finisher here. And no, CSM was able to avoid it. And I don't think Drake Saber realizes this, but there's an inverted Frankensteiner by CSM, and now Drake Saber is aware that the finisher did not go through. And now CSM following up, kick to the gut, drop kick right to the side of the head. And CSM maybe could be going for a cover here. Could this be the end of the match? One. No. Chris Saber stays alive once again. And now CSM sending him into his corner. That's a smart decision. I mean, speaking of fatigue, CSM looks like he desperately needs a tag, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. What is this? Drop kick into an STO. What a move there by, or a reverse STO, I should say. And now KBM looking to capitalize, but there's a thumb to the eye by Chris Saber. What a veteran move there, trying to keep himself alive, take whatever advantage he can. And off that drop kick right to the back of KBM. Kick to the gut by KBM. And now has him by the arm. But no, there's Chris Saber with the counter now. And there's a kick to the gut. Looks like Chris Saber setting up his comeback here. This is one kick to the face. There's another. And now ducks a clothesline of KBM and takes him down with the spinning neck breaker. And Chris Saber now. I mean, this is just gut check time for Chris Saber, planting him into the mat with that snapmare driver. Hooks the leg. That's one. But no, KBM kicks out. And then it's just gut check time for both these two teams. They've taken each other to the limit. Both teams, well, actually, KBM and CSM have not taken a finisher yet, as they managed to counter the one that Chris Saber went for earlier on. And now off that tornado DDT, busting him open, but there's a kick out. Chris Saber just managing to kick out of two. And now it's 2-on-1 in the ring here. The referee's going to have to get some control. CSM does indeed get out of the ring. And now a hard Irish whip. Chris Saber bounced off the ropes. German suplex by KBM into the cover. That is not even a one count. Chris Saber kicking out immediately. And went for the roundhouse kick. KBM was too quick, and he takes him down with the neck breaker. Nice move by KBM. Could this be the one that puts it away? One, two, no. Chris Saber once again kicks out, as these camera angles are starting to get a little disorienting. And now Chris Saber has KBM up on the top rope here. Oh, this is not looking good, folks. Chris Saber, what a move. Frankensteiner off the top rope. Could maybe go for a cover, but no, Chris Saber. This is actually a smart strategy, trying to follow it up immediately with a finisher here. And there's the hat suplex. And Chris Saber and Drake Saber could be moments away from retaining the tag team titles. What? No! What? What? He just kicked out at one. And now KBM looking to follow it up with his finisher there under the cover. 1, 2, and 3. That is it. We've got new tag team champions. Drake Saber could not quite get into the ring to break up the pin. I think his foot got caught up in the ropes there, and he was unable to save his brother from the pinfall. And KBM and CSM are your new tag team champions. So the tag team titles transition from one team of brothers to another. I guess you could say one band of brothers. That's not even really relevant. But anyway, that was a very hard-fought bout by both teams. Gut check time, like I said. And in the end, it just looked like KBM and CSM coming up in the clutch. It was just their night. It was their nights. And KBM and CSM are your new tag team champions of the world. It was a very hard-fought bout. They deserve those tag team titles, and I really don't think any team deserved to lose in this one. Both gave it their all, but in the end, there can only be one winner, or in this case, two, I guess. There can only be one team that wins. How about that? How about that? But that was another great matchup here to the card. We're about to move into the steel cage match for the ownership of UCW, so let's get to it. Alright folks, it is time now to move into the third matchup on the card. This one is a steel cage contest, and it is for the ownership of UCW. That is right, folks. The I butchered that. Mr. Amazing Zander James is going to go one-on-one with the current owner, or should I say the former owner. Mr. Amazing Zander James is going to go one-on-one with the current owner of UCW, and that is Sledder. And of course, from what we've seen, Sledder has abused his power a little bit recently, ever since taking over, and Zander had already not been very satisfied with how he was pretty much just got his job forcibly taken from him, and really with no warning. And the board of directors apparently did not see Zander James's standings as the owner of UCW as adequate at the time, and without really any warning, they sent Sledder to be sort of the messenger, and Sledder was he was named the new owner of UCW, and that's where this whole match came about. That's when this all started. And now Sledder is the owner of UCW, and Zander wants his job back. That is plain and simple what this is about. Sledder's been abusing his power a little bit. A lot of it is more like it, but Sledder has been abusing his power as of late, and Zander James already was frustrated with the fact that he was, you know, just without warning got his job taken from him. And now this abusive nature of Sledder, he likes to abuse his power, and we've seen that in recent weeks. As we remember back, geez, I'm sorry, I just ate something, so I apologize. But as we can remember, Sledder brought back Forzza, this being one of the most memorable things that Sledder has done. He brought back Forzza, and Forzza was pretty much just immediately granted a championship match at Extreme Apocalypse, and now, as we know, Forzza won the UCW title. He's going to be defending it in a triple threat match later on tonight against Nicolas, Colt, and Therme. But really, that whole match started because of Sledder. Sledder was the one who signed Forzza. He's the one who gave him the match to become champion. So that's just one of many things that Sledder has done. Of course, I'd have to say that's been the most memorable of all of what Sledder has done as since he's taken over the company. But now, let's get this matchup underway. We're inside of a steel cage. What a backbreaker there by Sledder. And Sledder, I mean, we saw him compete, I think, twice in this universe mode, both in losing efforts. So, I mean, Sledder doesn't compete really at all. And that was the case not so much with Zander. Zander, while he was the owner of UCW, he still competed. And I'd have to agree that's not exactly what an owner should be doing. An owner should be more of a behind-the-desk sort of person, an unbiased sort of overseer of all that goes on within a company. And I'd have to say Sledder hasn't really been an unbiased overseer. He's sort of interjected himself into some of these situations, if that's even a word. I might have just made that up. But he's just kind of thrown himself into these situations, although he didn't compete. He didn't compete while he was owner, or he hasn't competed up until this point as owner. And Zander James pretty much was a regular superstar at the same time with him being the owner of UCW, so that was probably a little bit behind the reasoning of why Zander James had his career as his job as owner taken away from him. But I don't know. I could criticize probably both of these superstars a little bit because neither of them are perfect. They've both made their mistakes as owner, but I mean, Zander wasn't nearly as biased as Sledder. I mean, true, Zander James did end up costing Brian Cole his career. He kind of took Brian Cole's career away from him in that one match, but I have to say that's the most controversial thing that Zander has done with his authoritative power. And, I mean, before then, Zander and Brian Cole had a pretty big beef anyway. They had a nice little feud going. Remember 3 Stages of Hell from Bio-Resilience? Anyone remember that match? That was probably, like, the most extensive editing I had done in a video at that time. And now, of course, I mean, all my content is, like, thoroughly edited, or not thoroughly, but, yeah, thoroughly and heavily edited. This one is actually not too often. Usually these UCW episodes have a bunch of cutscenes and stuff like that, but due to this being a pay-per-view, really cutscenes and that sort of thing aren't completely necessary. As we can see, Zander James into the cover. There's a kick out by Sledder. But of course, this being a pay-per-view, this is really where the culmination of all the stories come to a head. This is where everything comes to... I was about to repeat the same thing I just said. But, you know, you get the picture. I'm trying to formulate some ideas in my head to try to continue that statement, and that caused me to repeat what I said. But, nice famous there by Zander James. And now measuring Sledder for a drop kick. What a move there by Zander James. But, yeah, with this being a pay-per-view, it's not really... Cutscenes aren't needed for every single thing, and this would actually be a video that I could probably get away with not having any cutscenes. Because it's a pay-per-view, and, you know, pay-per-view, it's not really so much for developing storylines, it's for the storylines coming to a head, and for, you know, just all of that tension building, leading into this one matchup, and that is the pay-per-view match. So, I mean, I don't know, cutscenes aren't as needed, they aren't needed as much at an event like No Escape, like a pay-per-view event. As, anyways, we can see now Sledder just methodically stomping away at the limbs of Zander James, and now once to the head. Could maybe have broken his nose right there. Now Zander James has him in the corner. Nice clothesline there by Mr. Amazing Zander James. We have to remember, this is the steel cage match where there is a stipulation on the line. Zander James cannot escape the cage. I mean, he cannot escape the cage to win the match. So if you're probably wondering, well, I mean, right here, he's got Sledder down. Why doesn't he try to go escape the cage? Well, Zander James cannot do so because of the rule instated by Sledder. Nice leg drop by Zander. But because of the rule that Sledder added, the stipulation to this matchup, that Zander James must pin or make Sledder submit. And Sledder, on the other hand, can win by escaping the cage. And, of course, he can also win by pinfall or submission. But game messed it up again. Because during this match, no one is allowed to escape the cage. For whatever reason, that's not an option. It doesn't let you escape the cage. So, a cool stipulation idea that I had didn't work. Yeah, well, go figure. So, both these superstars are going to have to win by pinfall or submission. But the stipulation was a cool one if I could have executed it. But these newer games, I don't know the way to set up that you could have pin and submission and escape the cage on the same setting. I'm not sure if that's possible in this game, because I know you got to do something fancy, because if it's a normal steel cage match, you can't win by pinfall or submission, you have to escape the cage. So I don't know. So this is a bit more of what good old JR Jim Ross says a steel cage match should be. No escaping the cage. That's almost like the coward's way out. I guess you could say that. But there's a cover off the leg drop and a kick out by Zander James, and that could be argued for or against. Escaping the cage is a bit of the coward's way out. I mean, usually if a steel cage match like this comes about, there is some pretty heavy stuff going on between the two opponents, the two competitors, and they just want to take their anger out on each other. And another portion, if you may be wondering why they don't use the cage, for some reason that's not a thing either, because of whatever match setting I used, whether it was the incorrect one or it's just not possible to have both. I don't know, but for whatever reason, excuse me, my voice was going out there. It was acting weird. But anyway, like I was saying, the reason why they're not using the steel cage or trying to escape is because the game messed it up. So that cool stipulation I added, it really has no effect anymore, which sucks. It sucks. Because in the older games, you used to be able to just easily have it set that you could pin, submit, or escape the cage. I mean, it was as simple as flipping a setting. I mean, that was it. That was it. And now, what is this? Oh, what a move there by Sledder, taking down Zander James with that STO, and Zander James kicking out before even a count of 1. So, really, just no selling that finisher there. But Zander James, it is going to take a lot to keep him down. He is a former UCW champion, or is it Veterans of the Ring? Or is it both? I don't know. Zander James is a very successful superstar, former tag team champion. He has a lot of accolades in UCW. And, of course, with him being the owner, being the boss, yeah, he's going to have a bit of a mean streak, a bit of a stubbornness about him. So it is going to take a lot to be able to, it's going to take a lot out of Sledder to be able to put Zander James away. We've already seen, oh, what is this? Zander James looking for a bit of springboard clothesline. What a move there by Zander James. And now, I guess as you can kind of see, the steel cage usually is like right up against the ring there, but it's actually a bit of a bigger cage, backed away from the ropes a little bit, so it is not as easy to climb up onto the cage. I don't know if that maybe has effect to it, or if it's just the ring isn't big enough or whatever, but anyway, we're just going to say that it's backed off so they can't escape. And there's Zander James taking down Sledder with that side effect maneuver. And that also could kind of benefit Sledder with him being a bit of a taller superstar, or just taller person in general. Could help him with his longer arms and legs reach the steel cage. As we can see, Zander off the instant replay connecting with that Wrestling Hero Slam finishing spectacular maneuver. And now Zander James off the top rope with a swanton hooking both legs. That is 1, 2. No! Sledder kicks out there. And with it being a steel cage match as well, that is going to slow the count down. And what a mule kick to the side of the face. Right there by Zander James. As Sledder thought he had avoided the kick. He thought he had ducked it. He thought he was good, that he was safe. But he didn't let go of Zander James' leg. And that gave Zander the opportunity to kick him in the face. But what about that maneuver? That code breaker out of midair. That's got to be it. That is 1, 2, 3. And Zander James defeats the mighty Sledder. And Sledder has fallen. Zander James, per the stipulation from this match, did get his victory by pinfall. And as another stipulation of this match, he has regained his spot as owner of UCW. He's regained that title, that position. So Zander James victorious here tonight. And I don't think this was a very smart decision by Sledder by any means. I mean, true, he did stack the table against Zander, so to speak. He did have that stipulation in his favor. But really, would Zander James have wanted to escape the cage anyway? I mean, he's here, he just kind of wanted to punish Sledder and get his job back, because it was sort of injustice how Zander James just had his job taken away from him like that. So, did that stipulation really benefit Sledder? I don't know. And then plus, I mean, Sledder, he's not in his prime anymore. He's not the youngest superstar around. So, was a match really the greatest decision to put his spot on the line? I don't know. But what is this going to mean for the future of Sledder? Obviously, we know now that Zander James regaining his spot as owner of UCW, he could easily just fire Sledder, or maybe he has some other form of torture in mind. But what is the future for Sledder? Anyway, we're going to see if Sledder's #1 guy, Forzza here, can retain his championship. I mean, could Sledder and his top guy both fall on the same night? Guess we'll have to see, but as we know, Forzza has the odds stacked against him here. He has a 33% chance of retaining the title, which means there's a 66% chance that either Nicolas, Colt, or Therme are going to walk out with that UCW Championship. So it is not, the odds, the mathematics are not stacked in Forzza's favor. In fact, it's the exact opposite. He's got a bigger chance of losing the title than retaining it, because this isn't a one-on-one match. It's not a 50-50 split. There are 3 superstars in the ring, so Forzza doesn't even have to get pinned to lose that title. I mean, Therme could get the win over Nicolas, Colt, or vice versa. I mean, that's just saying that Forzza is definitely at a disadvantage here. He doesn't have the champion's advantage either. There is no disqualification, no count-out in a triple threat match. So, Forzza can't get himself disqualified, can't get himself counted out if he's in trouble to retain the title. He's going to have to get down and dirty, and he's going to have to pin or make one of these two superstars tap out. And I'd have to say, I don't expect any of these three superstars to tap out here tonight. They've come too far. They've all got their respective beefs against each other. I guess not so much with Nicolas, Colt, and Therme, but those two superstars have a very, can't think of the word, but they have a driving force behind them. Two very aggressive superstars. So, I mean, if they were to go head-to-head, I mean, we saw that a few weeks ago. They went one-on-one, but if they were to go head-to-head in this matchup for the title, I mean, they're looking to take each other out. I don't see anyone in this match tapping out, so they're just going to have to flat out knock each other out. I mean, until they just can't physically continue. And that's going to be tough to do. This should be a grueling physical matchup. And we've got the odds here. I mean, we got three, arguably, I mean, I don't even think it's arguable. We have three of the top superstars in UCW, the three top guys. We have Forzza, the current champion. Sledder's #1 guy. We have Nicolas, Colt here, former UCW champion. He held that title for, he won it on the very first episode of UCW Wednesday Night Wipeout back when there were, back when there was a brand split. As soon as I remember how to speak in English. But back when there was a brand split, Nicolas, Colt won the title with the inauguration of UCW Wednesday Night Wipeout. And that was following capital punishment, I want to say. So that would have been about in June, like about middle of June, Nicolas, Colt won the UCW Championship, and he held on to that up until the Extreme Apocalypse pay-per-view when he lost it to Forzza in that Extreme Rules matchup. So that would mean that he held the title for a good 4 months. Wait, June to September. Yeah, it's about 4 months. So Nicolas Colt had a very solid reign as the champion, unless my math is completely off, because I'm just not even really putting any thought towards it. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. Because if I put too much thought into the math, then I don't even know why I'm explaining this. That took way more time to explain than it would have to counter the math. Anyway, so we have Nicolas Colt, 4-month former UCW champion. We have Therme, the former UCW heavyweight champion, held the title for almost 2 years. So, I mean, if that's a testament to Therme's fortitude and his dominance as a champion, that just pretty much is, I don't know where I was going to go with that. If that isn't, I don't know what is. But Therme, he's taken a lot of punishment while he was the champion. So, I mean, that's just going to show what it's going to take to put Therme away in a matchup like this with the title on the line. Therme is back for redemption. Of course, when he lost the title, he was seeking redemption. Didn't get it then. Didn't get it at the Overboard pay-per-view, but he's seeking for that redemption here within UCW. That was more of an outer redemption. But now, Therme, I mean, after that, he was suspended by Sledder, so he was gone up until the Extreme Apocalypse pay-per-view. So now Therme trying to get back into the mix here. I think he's done that pretty successfully the past number of weeks. And now it is Therme's turn to try and regain the admiration of the UCW fans, because some of the fans in UCW have turned their back on Therme. And oh, what a nice double team move there by Nicolas, Colt, and Therme. Irish whip into the neck breaker. Nicolas Colt looking to pick up the scraps there, but no, Forzza kicking out at one. So, like I was saying with Therme, I mean, there are still a few bitter UCW fans after that whole ordeal with the UCW Championship. There are a few fans who are still upset with Therme about how that all went down, and angry with Therme. And this is Therme's opportunity. If he could win the title here tonight, win it from the bad guy, the villain Forzza, King Forzza, the Monarch. If he could win the title here from both Forzza and Nicolas Colt, I'd have to say that would get him his redemption, and he'd be back on top, be king of the mountain once again. And of course we got Nicolas Colt here in the middle, and I have to say, really, there is no reason for beef with Nicolas Colt. He hasn't really done anything that could irritate the fans in any way. Therme, of course, losing the UCW Championship. Some fans may not like him that much. Back with Forzza, of course, he's the main villain here. He's Sledder's #1, or Sledder's #2 technically, because Sledder'd be #1. But obviously, people don't like Forzza. And, oh, nice strategy there by Nicolas Colt. Try to take down the big tree legs of Forzza. I think I made that reference incorrectly, but whatever. Those legs are just like giant tree trunks, and that's what you're going to want to try to do. Try to take out the power of Forzza by taking out his legs. It was a very smart move by Nicolas Colt. Nicolas Colt seems to have gained the upper hand in this triple threat matchup. I'd have to say Forzza's taking the most punishment at this point. As, oh, what a move there by Nicolas Colt. Back to the legs. Once again, Forzza, and that's a very smart strategy by Nicolas Colt. And now it's Therme and Nicolas Colt going at it here. But I don't know. I mean, of course, Nicolas Colt, I don't think there's really any reason to hate him. I don't think he's done anything to really irritate the fans, but he doesn't have quite a backing. He doesn't have quite the backing here in UCW. If I could take a moment to try to figure out how I want to say this, he doesn't have quite the backing that Therme has in UCW. The crowd is not behind Nicolas Colt as much as Therme. I mean, Therme was the champion almost 2 years, so that gives him a lot of time to get up close and personal with the fans, give the fans a chance to get behind him, to digest who is Therme as the reluctant hero Therme. And now we've got Nicolas Colt, who really stepped up. I'd have to say Nicolas Colt stepped up to be the #1 in the absence of Therme, but that wasn't a very long time before Forzza captured the title from Nicolas Colt. So, I mean, fans they haven't quite gotten the same opportunity to get behind Nicolas Colt as they have with Therme, and that could maybe factor in with the crowd in this one. But as you can see, the crowd on their feet here. Nicolas Colt taking down Forzza with that signature maneuver, that amateur wrestling slam. And now it is Therme with a bit of a move of his own there, maybe trying to one-up Nicolas Colt here. And Nicolas Colt from behind tried to go after Therme, but Therme able to block it. And now Forzza back up onto his feet. And now it is Therme with a elbow right to the shoulder there. And that's a smart strategy on the part of Therme, because we know Nicolas Colt, he's a bit of a boxer. He likes to use those right and left hooks. If we remember, that's what won him the championship. Or actually, that's what, back at the Overboard pay-per-view when he faced off against Demon Douglas, that is what won him the championship, that big left knockout hook. So, I mean, you're not just you're not just going to want to go after one arm of Nicolas Colt, because we saw, boom, right there, left hook, as my voice kind of cracked there. But, so Therme is down right now, but Nicolas Colt unable to go for the cover because it is a triple threat matchup. Forzza right there to get in his way, shut him down, and now Therme has had time to quickly recover. That is pretty quick recovery there from Therme, but that is who Therme is. He's a very resilient competitor. Resistance to Resilience, his theme song, and there's a reason for that. He's a very resilient guy, very resilient competitor, very tough man to beat. And, oh, whoa, Therme just took out the referee there. It's a little up close and personal for the referee. Gonna want to try to get out of the way, and now Therme having a bit of a chat with him there. Okay, never mind. Now the game's just glitching out. Therme attacking the referee for no reason. Good thing, I guess, with these new mechanics, they don't really let you grapple the referee. But, yeah, Therme finally back into it here as Nicolas Colt's bringing him back to reality. And now it's Nicolas Colt with a hard Irish whip, sending Forzza off the turnbuckle. And now look at Nicolas Colt, just going right after Therme and Forzza, taking them both on at once. Now, went for the chop block, but Therme somehow caught him into a neck breaker. That'd be a cool thing if they could have in WWE 2K15 realistic counters. Sort of counter off the whatever move they're attempting. Like, you could catch him and turn that move into something else. But anyway. Back to the match. It is Nicolas Colt here, Forzza, and Therme going at it inside the ring. And Nicolas Colt, like I said, no disqualification. That chair is about as legal as a headlock, to quote, was it Jerry Lawler, Michael Cole? Somebody in this game says it. But there's a big super kick by Therme, nearly beheading Nicolas Colt. And now locking in that submission hold there. And that is Therme just trying to wear out. And look at a smart strategy there by Forzza. I mean, obviously, Nicolas Colt tapping out wouldn't be a very smart strategy at all on the part of Forzza. But that was smart, just letting Therme try to wear down Nicolas Colt a little bit there. And I mean, I would have expected Nicolas Colt to tap out there. Nicolas Colt hasn't taken too much punishment yet in this matchup. But now Nicolas Colt looking to fire off a comeback here, going right after Forzza, going after the big man, the big guy, taking him down with that spinning neck breaker. And now it looked like he was going right after Therme, as Nicolas Colt showing some aggression here, just going after both the competitors in this one. And what is this? A Hurricanrana, a nice move by Therme, pulling him back, trying to build up the momentum to add some extra impact to that one. And now just dissecting Nicolas Colt, stomping away at the limbs, then one to the face. We saw Sledder do that earlier, and there's a reason why these superstars are using that maneuver. It is a very methodical move, very good strategy if you want to try to wear down your opponents. And now Nicolas Colt, he was building some momentum, but Therme shut that down with a big boot. Forzza, I don't know why that move never hits, but Forzza getting back into the ring now. Nicolas Colt fighting off Therme, and we have to remember that Therme has taken that big knockout hook right to the side of the head. That could maybe factor in. Therme could, I mean, if he takes too many shots to the head like that, I mean, he could very... Oh, and now, speaking of shots to the head, Forzza gets planted right into the steel chair, and there's a stunner by Nicolas Colt, his other finisher. But like I said, with this being a triple threat, and look at... Wow. Therme is now busted open. We can see the blood on his head, but Therme just... That seems to only have fueled him even more. He immediately got right back up. Therme is just showing some extra aggressiveness here tonight. I mean, that finisher seemed to only help Therme. I mean, besides the blood that's in his face and his eyes, I mean, it just seemed to only re-energize Therme. And that's just the kind of attitude, that's the attitude of a champion. It's going to take a lot to keep Therme down, and we're seeing that here tonight. He's taken 2 finishers. I don't think anyone else has even taken a single finisher, but Therme just proving that he can go the distance and stay alive in this contest. I mean, I don't even think there's been a pinfall attempt. I mean, no, there were a couple, but I mean, legitimate pinfall attempts off of a finisher or something. There haven't been any, because with it being a triple threat, it's just that kind of chaos. And, of course, with the extra durability of these 3 superstars, I mean, even if you do knock down the third opponent, who's to say that the one that you hit your finisher on won't be up and walking around again? I mean, that's just because these 3 superstars are quick to recover, because they've been in these types of matches before. They've been in these high-profile matchups, and they have durability. They've gotten a bit more used to this situation than some other superstars. That's why they're able to kick out of finishers and no-sell things like nobody else can, because they've been there before. They've done that sort of thing. And now Nicolas Colt up on the top rope, kicking Therme away there. And what is this? Oh, a pump handle toss right onto the steel chair. And Nicolas Colt went for a diving headbutt, instead connected with that steel chair. And that's definitely not going to be good, as we remember. Heading into this one, Nicolas Colt had experienced a concussion, but I'm assuming that that's all recovered at this point. I mean, I know Sledder did say that it was lucky that Nicolas Colt, that Nicolas Colt could compete at the pay-per-view at all, but he was allowed to compete. But I mean, what kind of percent is Nicolas Colt at? We would hope that he'd be at 100 if he's allowed to compete, but obviously Nicolas Colt does want to compete very, very badly. I mean, he's been trying to redeem himself from the loss to Forzza ever since, and that concussion has really kind of slowed him down. And of course, Demon Douglas getting involved, that's just some extra, an extra obstacle that Nicolas Colt has been forced to deal with. But now, clearing the ring, sending Therme and Forzza up the top. What the hell? What the hell? Speaking of Demon Douglas, there's Demon Douglas right now, and Nicolas Colt. I mean, these 2 superstars just purely hate each other. There was a lot of hate here between these 2 superstars. Nicolas Colt, what are you doing? You have a match. You're in the middle of a UCW Championship match. But that just shows how much Demon Douglas is in Nicolas Colt's head. As Demon Douglas and Nicolas Colt now fighting up on the ramp. Security trying to stop this up there. We've got Therme and Nicolas Colt now going at it. Or not Therme and Nicolas Colt. Therme and Forzza going at it here at ringside. And Nicolas Colt and Demon Douglas have just taken their fight to the back. Can't see them anymore, so we don't know what's going on. Hopefully we can get an update on that. So I guess we're down until Nicolas Colt returns, if he returns. We've got a one-on-one contest now between Forzza and Therme. And here we go. We got some footage here in the back. Demon Douglas and Nicolas Colt trading blows backstage here. And, oh my God, right off of that bin there. So we got to get back to ringside. Man, this is going to be tough to cover. This is just pure chaos. But, I mean, that's what happens when you do get this kind of chaos. It is, I mean, of course, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be tough to cover because, I mean, what kind of chaos is controlled chaos? But now, as we can see, Nicolas Colt and Demon Douglas still going at it back here. Oh, with that door right into the face of Nicolas Colt. But now it is Nicolas Colt fighting back. There was a shot to the face, and now a kick to the leg. And now Nicolas Colt tossing Demon Douglas up into those bins, those boxes over there. And now charging him, ramming him right into the boxes, and then taking him down with a clothesline. Now Forzza's got a hold of the steel steps right to the face of Therme. And Forzza now, we're down to a one-on-one matchup here. And like I've said, Therme has taken the most punishment in this match. He's taken 2 finishers from Nicolas Colt. And now these steel chair shots, or steel steps to the head is definitely not going to help his case. Demon Douglas and Nicolas Colt still going at it now over by that soda machine. Demon Douglas now tossing Nicolas Colt right into the soda machine. And now it is Demon Douglas who's going to ram Nicolas Colt right into that machine. And now these two trading blows. Demon Douglas looking like he's running away now. I don't know what's going on backstage. It's very tough to cover here, folks. But chaos, that's just the nature of it. And now, big maneuver there by Forzza, hanging up Therme on that bottom rope there with that alley-oop maneuver. And now it looks like he's going to toss him back to the outside, as Forzza is just taking control of this match ever since Nicolas Colt left. And that's just showing the damage that Nicolas Colt has done to Therme. And now Therme up on that announce table, Swanton onto Forzza, and that's just some very innovative offense there, trying to add some extra impact. Add some extra impact in those moves. And once again, a door right to the face, and now a clothesline there by Demon Douglas, as Demon Douglas and Nicolas Colt just taking each other to the limit backstage. And now Nicolas Colt tossing Demon Douglas off camera. Hopefully we can get back under the match now. As we can see, my voice can't handle this. It's just too much chaos. Therme and Forzza back on the outside once again, as they were battling to get the upper hand there. And Therme now bouncing Forzza off the barricade there, as Demon Douglas and Nicolas Colt still going at it backstage. Forzza and Therme going at it here. But, I mean, Nicolas Colt is still part of this UCW Championship match. So, I mean, he's too occupied with Demon Douglas right now. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it back out here. If he's even going to be in a condition to make it back out here to continue to participate in this matchup. It's just one-on-one Therme and Forzza right now. And now Therme has Forzza over there in the corner. And what is this, going for a bit of a Shiranoi? I butchered that. I know I did. No, I did, but he just hung up Forzza there, and now going for his finisher, looking to take him down here with that standing Green Bay plunge, the standing version of it. And now hooking the leg. That's 1, 2. No, Forzza stays alive. As like I said, fatigue factoring in, that is the only finisher Forzza has taken, so he has a little more ability to recover here. And this is not looking good. Demon Douglas has Nicolas Colt through the glass window. Oh my God. Oh my God, this has just gotten out of control backstage. There's no way Nicolas Colt is going to be able to make it back to this championship match. We're going to have to get a doctor out there or something. Somebody's going to have to go check on Nicolas Colt here. Therme up on the top rope, and now it's Forzza. Forzza caught him by the throat, and here's Forzza. Chokeslam to Therme, and that could be it, folks. That's the third finisher Therme has taken. Can he kick out of this? And he kicks out. Oh my God, Therme. Therme, this is just an inhumane. He's just inhuman. He's just got to be running on autopilot right now. I think that's just pure instinct by Therme to kick out. I'm amazed that he's managed to recover like this. But this is why Therme held the title for almost 2 years. I mean, it's almost impossible to beat this man. And now it is Therme off that C4, now measuring. Forzza possibly going for the thermal bomb. And yes, he's measuring him, picking him up for that brain buster. Look at the strength. And he plants him right into the mat with the thermal bomb, busting Forzza open. But Therme is not done there. Therme knows that Forzza hasn't taken as much punishment as he has, and he wants to end it right now with a second thermal bomb. That's got to be it. There's no way that Forzza can kick out of 2 thermal bombs. That's 2 and 3. We've got a new UCW champion. Amidst the chaos, we've regained our savior, the reluctant hero, the resilient Therme has recaptured the gold. He's recaptured his UCW championship. Well, I guess technically he was the UCW heavyweight champion. Now he is the UCW champion. So Therme, we're probably going to be getting a pink belt pretty soon. Therme going to add his own spin to this new title, as he tends to do. As we can see here, looking back on the replays of the matchup, as we remember with, I mean, Demon Douglas just came out here, blatantly interrupted in our match, and Nicolas Colt's anger got the better of him, and he got thrown through a window because of it. I mean, he's lost his opportunity at the UCW Championship. That gave Therme an opening to regain the title, and Nicolas Colt got put through a window, so it's going to be some doctors back there, hopefully. I mean, we got to get some help for Nicolas Colt here. He's finally managed to crawl out of that window, all that broken glass everywhere. This is a dangerous situation back there. And now we've got a referee over there to check him out, make sure that Nicolas Colt is okay. Hopefully we'll be able to see him competing. Referee's doing double duty. That's interesting. But that was the match. Let's get into our Elimination Chamber match. Are you ready? Because it is the main event time here at No Escape. And this is the Elimination Chambers, or should I say the #1 contenders, Elimination Chamber match, where the winner will be the #1 contender for the UCW Championship and will main event Final Destination. So we know that Therme won the UCW Championship in our previous match, so whoever wins this match will go on to face Therme for that UCW Championship in the main event of Final Destination. So will it be one of the two superstars starting out this match? Will it be Jesse Sullivan? Will it be Max Bell? Will it be Brian Cole, DeMarcus Hardy, Amazing X, or I'm just kind of stalling because I don't remember who the other guy was in the match. Just hurry up and show the screen again. But anyways, we can see Jesse Sullivan and Max Bell are starting out the match. Max Bell, of course, in the orange and blue. And Demon Douglas, that was the other one. And speaking of Demon Douglas, he's going to enter in at number 3. So as we remember, Max Bell qualified for this match by defeating Lil Caesar. Jesse Sullivan kind of got a bye because Zander James chose not to compete. And in return, Zander James won back his company. So that's a thing. Demon Douglas qualified by defeating and then sidelining Ryan Mitchell. So, yeah, probably won't see Ryan Mitchell for quite a while. DeMarcus Hardy over there in the top right. He defeated Nightmare to qualify. Brian Cole up there in the top left. He defeated Frost to qualify. And then we have Amazing X down in the bottom left pod now. Not even on your screen. Amazing X. Excuse me. Amazing X defeated Richard Thompson to qualify for this chamber match. So that sums up how everybody got here. I'd have to say, I've said this before, but the underdogs in this match are probably Max Bell and Amazing X. As Amazing X really just stepped up this month to really make a name for himself, and he has done just that. Maybe even challenging Richard Thompson for the fastest rising superstar in UCW. And I mean, Amazing X, well, no, I don't really think he can be, because Richard Thompson from his debut just made immediate impact. Amazing X has been, around for a while, and just never really, UCW never really had a spot for him, and he never really got featured. And I just ate a meatball sub, so I keep starting to burp. So I apologize for that if I take a few pauses during the video. But those two, I would say, are the underdogs in this one. But I mean, Amazing X has had some time recently. I mean, we've seen that Amazing X can go the distance. I mean, he took Richard Thompson to the limit, and Richard Thompson is in that upper mid card, so that's a big victory for Amazing X to qualify for the chamber match. So, I mean, I wouldn't count any of these 6 superstars out, but I mean, Brian Cole enters the match right there, but I'd have to say those two would be the underdogs. Have to say the most momentum leading into this matchup would probably go to Demon Douglas and maybe DeMarcus Hardy. I think DeMarcus Hardy would be next on that list. But speaking of Brian Cole, he defeated Forzza, who was the then UCW champion, so that's some huge momentum for Brian Cole leading into this one. And speaking of Mr. Cole, he just seems to be sort of stalking the competition, just sort of biding his time, trying to find time to enter the match, and these 4 superstars paying no attention to Brian Cole, so that's a pretty good strategy, I'd have to say, on the part of Brian Cole. Let your opponents wear each other out, and try to save yourself, not get too fatigued before, because obviously if you want to go the distance, taking a lot of damage is not going to help you too much. And there's a nice back suplex off the ropes by Jesse Sullivan, and now Brian Cole going right after Jesse Sullivan. And as we remember, a few weeks ago, Jesse Sullivan and Forzza attacked Brian Cole from behind. So Brian Colt got his vengeance against Forzza, and I'd say eliminating Jesse Sullivan from this Elimination Chamber seems to be Brian Colt's #1 priority at the moment. I mean, maybe not #1 priority, but that definitely is something on his mind. He would love to get some retribution against Jesse Sullivan here tonight. Of course, #1 priority for all of these superstars would be to win the match. That's definitely of much importance, so I don't think just eliminating any one person would be too important, but as we can see, we have DeMarcus now entering the chamber match. He's combating Amazing X over there on the bottom left. We have Demon Douglas and Brian Colt going at it, and then up there in the top right is Jesse Sullivan and Max Bell. They're going at it. They're in a lockup right now. So with all 6 superstars, I said with twice, I apologize. But with there being 6 superstars in the chamber, this is where things get to be a bit chaotic. And look at this. Oh my god, what a move there. Was that a, I don't know. That wasn't really a swanton, but it was, he did about the same amount of flips as a swanton, I think. I don't even know what Brian Colt is going for there, but yeah, whatever it is, he landed right on Demon Douglas, right out onto that steel, and that's definitely going to amplify the impact of some of these moves. If you can get somebody out onto the steel and just, you know, that's just going to amplify the damage that much more, because it is solid steel. It's not your typical ring where it's, I mean, not to say that a ring is comfortable by any means, but it's a lot more comfortable than steel. So, I mean, steel was not meant to meet flesh. So that is definitely some hardcore punishment, but now all 6 superstars back into the ring. And as I was saying, this is where things are going to get chaotic, because we have 6 superstars here battling each other out to the death. Okay, maybe not that far, but it is pretty difficult. We're just going to ignore that Brian Colt went right through the pod there. But it is pretty difficult to call the action with there being 6 superstars in the ring at once. It's almost impossible, actually. I mean, like, I can flip back and forth, but I might miss a few things because, I mean, with all this action going around on the ring all at once, it's very difficult to call. So I'm not going to call everything. That is going to be kind of difficult. But, I don't know. At this point in the match, I'd have to say, who would be the wild card? Like, who would be... I don't know. I'd have to say the wild card in this match would probably be Brian Colt, because Brian Colt in his history in UCW, he's talked a lot of trash. He has proved that he can back it up, but Brian Colt, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Brian Colt, you never really know what you're going to get out of this guy. And, yeah, like I said, you don't know what you're going to get. Look at this. Brian Colt diving off of that pod. You never know what you're going to get with this guy. I mean, diving off the pod, he didn't land on anybody. I guess he kind of connected with Max Bell and Amazing X, but it didn't get all of it. So, Brian Colt, that's just proven that he's a pretty suicidal guy. I mean, ever since the beginning of this universe mode, Brian Colt has, well, not really since the beginning, but since he made his impact in that match against Zander James in 3 Stages of Hell, back at Bio-Resilience, he said a lot about the UCW Heavyweight Champion, Therme. The then UCW Heavyweight Champion, I should say. The current UCW Champion. So he said a lot about Therme. So that would be quite a clash. As we know, Demon Douglas, he's been on the rise as of late. I mean, he was unsuccessful in his attempt to defeat Nicolas Colt for the UCW Championship back at the Overboard pay-per-view. But, I mean, he's never really had that kind of an opportunity against Therme. I mean, he did clash with Therme once after he pretty much kicked Nicolas Colt's skull in. Like, skull. Jeez, my words are meshing together. But after kicking Nicolas Colt's skull in, basically, on UCW a few weeks ago. Wait a minute, here's the cover by Max Bell and DeMarcus Hardy, and both those superstars kicking out. Jesse Sullivan and Brian Colt continue to go out over there. And there's that finisher, that pile driver from Max Bell and Amazing X getting right back up to his feet, just showing the aggressiveness and the drive within these superstars, their will to win the championship. So, I mean, things just going all over the place. There is the chop block to Jesse Sullivan. Now, Brian Colt looking to follow it up with a leg drop right onto the chest of Jesse Sullivan. And now he's going to go into the cover here, hooking the leg, but a kick out by Jesse Sullivan. So, at least this matchup, superstars have lasted a bit longer. No one getting eliminated too quickly. Amazing X with a nice kick out there. And this is just the point where you got to try not only to inflict damage on your opponent, but you also want to try to conserve energy. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we saw earlier from Brian Colt. Brian Colt now off the top went for the swanton, but Jesse Sullivan was able to avoid it. And there was a nice powerbomb move-ish thing. I didn't quite catch it, but I believe it was a powerbomb by Amazing X to Max Bell. As DeMarcus Hardy has Demon Douglas by the arm. And now measuring here has him by the head. And there's a neck breaker. And now a hip toss neck breaker there from Brian Colt. That's the second to Jesse Sullivan. He's going to hook the leg. That's 1, 2, 3. Jesse Sullivan is the first superstar eliminated from this Elimination Chamber match. As DeMarcus Hardy was getting fired up over there on Demon Douglas. There's a cover off the line saw by Max Bell, but Amazing X with a kick out. Brian Colt now going for a suplex, but there's a knee right to the skull. Nice counter by Demon Douglas. As we're down to 5 now. We're down to 5. 5 superstars in this contest. Max Bell going for a cover on DeMarcus Hardy, and there is a kick out by DeMarcus Hardy. So, of course, with this being an Elimination Chamber, oh, what a spear there by Amazing X. But unlike the last one, this Elimination Chamber, there can only be a pinfall or submission inside of the ring. I know earlier, Little Caesar was eliminated outside of the ring when he took that spinebuster onto the chamber floor. And wait a minute, look at Max Bell here. Max Bell looking to go coast to coast with a drop kick right to the face of Brian Colt. And Demon Douglas appears to be measuring Amazing X, maybe looking to put him away. But no, DeMarcus Hardy getting in there, breaking that up. And now it is DeMarcus Hardy going after Amazing X. And now DeMarcus Hardy, we got superstars just taunting all over the place, just waiting for Amazing X to get up here. And Max Bell now, or not even Max Bell, DeMarcus Hardy has Amazing X up on his shoulders. And I believe he just stole Amazing X's finishing maneuver there, the DTX, to the face. And that is 1, 2, 3, and Amazing X is the second superstar eliminated in this contest. We're down to 4. The now busted open Demon Douglas, DeMarcus Hardy, Max Bell, and Brian Colt. Nice kick out there by Demon Douglas. And now, once again, Brian Colt going up on top of the pod. And Max Bell was, well, Brian Colt did not catch all of that, nor did Max Bell manage to avoid it entirely, as Brian Colt landed right on the back of Max Bell. Jeez. And there, Demon Douglas was just eliminated. I didn't even see what happened. But DeMarcus Hardy eliminates Demon Douglas. So we're down to 3. What a neck breaker by DeMarcus Hardy. But we're down to DeMarcus Hardy, Brian Colt, and Max Bell. And now Max Bell tossing Brian Colt out to the outside onto that steel chamber floor. But like I said, there can only be an elimination inside the ring. So there can, technically, this is both safe territory and dangerous territory, because obviously it's safe because you can't get eliminated, but it is extremely dangerous because of that steel floor, the steel walls. So, I don't know. It's sort of like a pick your poison sort of thing. Would you rather be in the ring where you can be eliminated, or would you rather be out there on the steel where you can take a lot of punishment, and that could eventually, all that punishment could add up and lead to your eventual elimination. So, I don't know. It's kind of like a pick and choose situation. Like I said, pick your poison. And there's a leg drop right to the back of the head, planting Max Bell face first into the mat. And now a neck breaker to DeMarcus Hardy's Brian Colt now trying to take on both superstars here. DeMarcus Hardy sweeping out the legs of Brian Colt, throwing off his balance. And now there's a Cobra Clutch from behind by Max Bell, just trying to wear out Brian Colt. It's a very smart strategy by the young Max Bell. And I have to say, Max Bell is really still a rookie here in UCW. I'd have to say I was a little surprised that he had won his match against Little Caesar to qualify into this match. So he's kind of trying to make the transition into that upper mid-card state. But Max Bell, I don't know if he's really quite ready for that. Obviously, if he gets the victory here, at his age, or not his age, but at his stage here in UCW, he's still somewhat of a rookie here in UCW. So that'd be a big victory if he managed to get the win in this chamber match. That's a 2 count, but Brian Colt manages to stay alive. So, I don't know if Max Bell is necessarily ready for this sort of situation, but if he could get the win, that'd be a huge victory. He'd be breaking some new ground, maybe challenging Richard Thompson for that fastest rising superstar title. But DeMarcus Hardy now getting back into the ring as he got tossed out by Brian Colt. And now look at this, the flipping pile driver. 360 pile driver, maybe? I don't know what to call that. Max Bell going into the cover on Brian Colt. That's 1. And Brian Colt immediately kicks out. So, we've seen before in the past that Brian Colt can go the distance. He can take those finishers, and I mean, even if that's not the case, there are a couple other things it could be. He could be running on adrenaline at this point, as that's what all three of these superstars probably are. Running on adrenaline and just their drive to, I mean, there's a big opportunity on the line in this matchup, because whoever wins will be main eventing Final Destination for the UCW Championship. So, I mean, that's a big 2-in-1 deal right there. So there's a lot fueling these three superstars. And now Brian Colt, there's a cross chop right to the throat. And now Brian Colt measuring Max Bell here. Gonna plant him face first into the mat, and that just busted Max Bell open. He's gonna hook the leg into the cover, and Max Bell kicking out. He's staying alive. This is gut check time for Max Bell right here, folks. And into a hip toss neck breaker. That might be it, folks. Brian Colt hooking the leg. 1, 2, 3. And Max Bell has been eliminated. We're down to 2 here. It is DeMarcus Hardy and Brian Colt. And I have to say, leading into this one, DeMarcus Hardy would have been one of my picks. Like I said, DeMarcus Hardy and Demon Douglas were the two superstars with the most momentum leading into this one. Brian Colt, I'd say, was not far behind. So, I mean, big leg drop there to the back of the head by Brian Colt. So I'd have to say my 3 picks is a lot of picks. It's half the field. But I would have had to say the favorites to win this one would have been DeMarcus Hardy, Brian Colt, or Demon Douglas. And 2 of those superstars remain, as there's a kick out by Brian Colt. But what an opportunity this would be for DeMarcus Hardy. I mean, DeMarcus Hardy is a veteran in this business. He's a personal friend of Therme's, friend of Zander's, friends with a lot of superstars here in UCW. But, I mean, in this universe mode, DeMarcus Hardy hasn't really been given the opportunity to prove himself. But, I mean, this could be his shot as he plants him face first into the mat off that twist of fate. Into the cover. DeMarcus may have just seen... Whoa, Brian Colt didn't even take a 1 count before kicking out of that one. That just shows the aggressiveness from these two superstars. They don't want to give an inch. They don't want to show any sign of weakness, as we've been seeing a lot of kickouts before the 1 count. That's also partially because the counts are a bit slower here because it is Elimination Chamber. And I don't know who's giving the counts. There is no referee. But anyway, DeMarcus Hardy back into the cover once again. That's not even a 1 count as Brian Colt kicks out once again. And that's partially because of those slow counts. It does give the superstars a bit more time to recover. Although I'd have to say, I question Brian Colt's methods, or not methods, but tactics there. I think he should, if he can kick out a 0, that's 2 now. And Brian Colt just barely beat the count there, manages to kick out. But I'd have to say, the smart thing would be to try and wait out that 2 count. Stay down for a little bit. Try to compose yourself and regain your, try to recover a little bit and compose yourself before kicking out. But Brian Colt and, I mean, all the superstars in this match have been electing to kick out at the 1 count, or even before then. Just trying to kick out immediately and show no sign of weakness. DeMarcus Hardy now in a camel clutch. Brian Colt, he was trying to crawl away, but it looked like DeMarcus had just locked it in. But Brian Colt managed to power out of that one there. But, I mean, both these superstars have taken a lot of punishment. It's only a matter of time until one of these superstars hits that winning maneuver, hits that finisher, submission hold, whatever it's going to take to finish the match. But it's only a matter of time until somebody is going to get the victory in this one. And Brian Colt now just sort of biding his time. That's actually a bit of a benefit for both superstars. I think Brian Colt should take this opportunity to inflict some damage. He was just sort of arrogantly kicking away at the face of DeMarcus Hardy. And now Brian Colt going up to the top rope here, looking for that swanton. He connects, hooks both legs here. That is 1, 2, 3. And Brian Colt wins the Elimination Chamber. And he is your #1 contender for the UCW Championship. Brian Colt is going on to main event Final Destination against the UCW Heavyweight Champion Therme. So what a victory this is for Brian Colt. What a statement made here tonight. I mean, a lot of superstars. These superstars gave it their all. Max Bell put on a very impressive performance, lasting to the final 3. Like I said, he was one of the underdogs in this contest. DeMarcus Hardy, proving that he's still got it. I mean, he's a veteran, hasn't been given too many opportunities, proving that he can still go the distance in this type of matchup. And he was so close to getting the victory, just 1 man away. But that 1 man was Brian Colt. And Brian Colt, he was determined to win this one. He vowed that he would win the overboard match. And then, of course, with the power outage, that match never came to fruition. So Brian Cole was looking for this opportunity in this Elimination Chamber, and he jumped right on it, and he has successfully won the Elimination Chamber match. Brian Cole getting the victory here to cap off our show. This was a great No Escape pay-per-view. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode of UCW. Keep on YouTubing.